Okay, so good morning. And it's a pleasure and an honor to be with you. And thank you, David, for inviting me to this session. I think I should start by congratulating this great association that is now 20 years old. 20 years is like the millennial, right? The guy that just born with internet. So you are a very young association. And so I'll look forward to see you coming to the new world of the new digital world as an association as well. But again, thank you for your contribution. As Bill McDermott mentioned, I think that the collaboration between what is happening here in Iberia and in Spain and SAP is a role model, something that we would like to see in each and every country, to be very transparent with you. So thank you for that. I thought that the best way to address you today was actually to listen and to answer your questions instead of giving you another pitch about SAP and about how great we are and how good our products are. And therefore, I was suggesting to David that I would like very much to listen what are your concerns, your questions, your interrogations, and maybe try to shed some light on that and give you some feedback. And that's what I'm going to do. Prior to that, I would like just to give you some feedback from Sapphire. I was at Sapphire last week, and it was a great event. And I would like to share with you what I keep in my mind from this full week with customers and with partners. The first thing that really I keep in mind is really the new simple finance solution that has been announced by Hasso Plattner on stage at Sapphire. I believe that it's not only a gimmick or a new version of our ERP package, is really a showcase of what the new world is about to be. And so I would like just to elaborate a bit more and explain to you what it is. So for the one who have not been able to join us at Sapphire, or if you haven't seen this announcement, we have announced a new package called Simple Finance. And it's nothing else than a new ERP, but based on the new HANA technology. Indeed, the situation is that all relational database and all software vendors in the world for the last 4 years have been forced, due to performance constraints, to build their ERP with a lot of aggregate and indexes to try to get a better performance. So if you look at your data, and if you look at your general ledger, actually there is very few raw data, and the rest is a combination of total and sums and aggregates, so you can have an easy access when you ask for something. And that was how all the systems have been built in the last 14 years, including SAP. Now, when we look at HANA and we introduce these new ways of managing the data, we realize that if we really want to take advantage of this new model, we have to rethink the entire platform. We cannot just plug it into the system. We can, that's what we do, but then you don't really have the full power and the full capability of this new platform. So what Hasso Plattner has decided to do, for the fourth time in his life, is to rewrite himself the package using the full power of HANA. And it ends up with a system that is remarkably and overwhelmingly, compared to any other system, simple. What I mean by simple is that the entire SAP business, 17 billion euro, runs today, since April 23rd, on a 250 gigabyte system. That's all we need with Simple Finance to run our entire business. And why? Because the entire package, ERP, runs on 2 tables. Only 2 tables where everything is consolidated. Everything is stored as it is. And everything else, all the analysis, all the pre-aggregate, all the indexes, are replaced by direct queries to this simple database. And again, Hasso Plattner on stage was presenting to us, compared to the current system, how many of these intermediate structures and aggregates and tables has been just deleted, moving to the new system. So why is that so remarkable? Because it's so simple. Because it's reduced dramatically the amount of data you need to have to run your business. And also because when you have only 2 tables, you can run any type of simulation, any budgetary assumptions in real time. Imagine your CFO being to do any simulation, like the what-if scenarios. If they build a new company, they divest this business, they acquire this organization, and see immediately the impact in cash flows and in your balance sheet and your P&L in real time. That's the promises of this new system, because it is so simple and so, I would say, small in terms of size, that you can imagine any kind of query, any kind of analysis in real time on the entire database. So things that you cannot do on a 20 or 30 terabyte system, you can certainly imagine doing in real time in a 200 gigabyte system. And again, what I think it's interesting to know is that it's just the first step. The objective of SAP is to use the power of HANA to simplify the entire portfolio of solutions that we have at SAP. So again, if we extrapolate what does that mean for the future, what that means, a very simple system to use, very efficient, with a full and for the first time probably real-time possibility to examine, to analyze, to predict any type of scenario you want, whether you are in manufacturing, in retail, in public sector, in banking, or any other industry. And that's the promise that we have and that we made on stage through Hasso Plattner himself to the entire SAP community. Now, this concept of simple, a simple database, simple to use, with direct access to the system, was also part of the keynote of Bill McDermott. When you will see now the new campaign that we have at SAP is Run Simple. So why is it so important to run simple? It's because we believe, and SAP included, that in the last 10 to 15 years, we have built internal processes that became extremely complex and that are slowing down the creativity and the possibility of companies to grow, to develop. We've been very much internal-centric. We make systems very complex. And at the end of the day, a complex system is a system that is not evolving fast enough. It's a system that people do not adopt as an end user. And we also realize that as SAP, when we look at the system and the way people are adopting our own system. So that's why the second announcement that has been done at Sapphire was also quite spectacular. We announced that Fiori, which is a new user interface, a new user experience, a much better user experience, is now free of charge, is part of the package. So to tell you the truth, at the very beginning, I was a bit surprised. We said, why should we give for free something that we have developed and that's fairly new? It's a lot of value for the customers. And now we have to give a credit to the one that already bought that from us. And then I realized that this is the right decision. Why is that the right decision? Because we absolutely need the end users to change their perception of SAP. We absolutely need to help you in the IT department to promote a more, let's say, sexy SAP to your end users, so you can get them with you instead of against you. And because we realize that it's very important to improve the user experience overall for the end users. And therefore, we didn't want to have only 10 or 15% of the customers adopting this new platform. We wanted all of you with no exceptions, to have the possibility to offer to your end users a new user experience using Fiori. So I would absolutely encourage you to look at the Fiori and the personas if you haven't seen that yet. It is part of your maintenance. If you pay the maintenance fee, then you have access to that for free with unlimited usage to any number of utilization of users that you may have. And I would like very much to encourage you to use it, to take advantage of it, so you can help us also to change the perception of the end users about what SAP is about. I mean, you know, when you talk about simple, we realize that we have a lot to do at SAP to make it simple. First of all, we have to simplify our own organization. We are incredibly complex with a number of processes, and the company we acquired, and everyone coming with his own legal and contract and terms and conditions. And yes, we have to simplify all of that because we realize it's more complex for you to do business with SAP with all the new acquisitions and all the newcomers. But I think that it's very important that we come to this journey of trying to make things more simple. And it starts with a user experience that has to be more simple, more intuitive, so they don't have to spend a lot of time to know how to use SAP. It should be like when you go to an iPad and you download an application. You don't need any education. That's the model. It should be as easy as it is to use an iPad and new apps to use an SAP application in the future. And Fiori is one step to this direction. We are committed to simplify the way we do business with you. And that is coming from the top of the company. This idea of running simple has multiple dimensions. The one dimension that I explained about the database and how we use HANA to simplify the IT landscape, to combine the OLAP and the OLTP world into one single platform, to be able to do transaction and analytics in one single system, which, by the way, it's exactly the opposite of what Larry Ellison was suggesting yesterday, presenting his own memory database evolution. They just said yesterday that they need both. You need to continue to have both. So you need the in-memory, but you also need to keep the relational database that you have. Of course. I mean, we were not expecting anything different, as these guys have to protect their legacy system. We at SAP have no legacy system. And that's why we believe that the HANA transition is a transition to a new world. It's not about keeping and carrying the bag of what you had from the past. And that's what we mean by making simple. It's not to keep two systems. It's to have one system. We'll be able to run, again, the mission-critical application and all your analytics applications into one single landscape. That's what simplification means. Now, simplification is also how we interact with you and how we do business with you. And when we listen to the survey, and we listen to that very carefully, you have to know that everybody at SAP, everybody, from the receptionist to myself, or to Bill McDermott, if we look at the global level, NPS is part of our performance review. It's actually part of our compensation plan. And I'm not trying to put any pressure on you. I'm just saying it's because it is important to see if we are making any progress with the customers, if they believe that we are getting better. Because at the end of the day, you decide if we are successful or not. So the commitment from Aso Plattner and Bill McDermott was not only about a simple finance or running simple the business. It's about trying to simplify also the way we do business with you. And again, the number one criticism that we are collecting from you is that it is still complex to do business with SAP. It's not easy. Your list price is very complex. Your contracts are very complex. To engage with you takes a lot of time. So, as I said, I think we recognize that. And the objective and the commitment is to simplify our relationship with you and make sure that you get a better and better experience every year. We will also continue to simplify the IT landscape to reduce your cost and reduce and remove the complexity. And we will also try to simplify and have a better intuitive user experience in the future for you end users. So that was basically, in a very short summary, my feedback, a very personal feedback. It was many other things from Sapphire and what I kept in mind from this. Now, from here, I suggest, David, that I now leave you to maybe go through some questions.
Okay. First of all,